This is your 5 tech things you should know about, asking you the question, do you know which social network you should be spending the most time on? Hey everybody, Jeffrey Powers. Welcome to the 5 tech things you should know about for all you weekend warriors in tech that don't want too much information overload. Let's get into your 5 tech things. But before we do, we gotta talk about this. Last night, Japan suffered an earthquake 8.9. You probably heard about it on the news already. The following tsunami was just devastating. We were watching the action as it happened around 3 p.m. in Japan, about 1 o'clock in the morning where I was. And it was just completely devastating to actually see all this. What this means, and we're not trying to put a spin on it. I hope everybody in Japan is safe. I hope they're sound. Get your stuff in order. But it's going to affect our technology market. A lot of things are made from Japan. LED technology, a lot of LED light technology is made from Japan. So you might see some issues getting different devices, such as the iPad 2, which we're going to talk about in a couple seconds. It needs to be said. Now we said it, we'll move on. So everybody in Japan, I hope you are safe and sound, and I hope you can get things rebuilt as quick as possible. All right, let's get into your 5 tech things. Of course, iPad 2 comes out, well, it's already out on the store. Technically, you can pre-order it on the store. You can go up online and say, I want an iPad 2. But you won't get it for a couple weeks. You can go to the store at 5 p.m. and wait in line like the guy in the tent in Dallas and get your iPad 2 today. But you need to stand in line, and I have a feeling those lines are starting to grow. And a lot of people are probably a little bit agitated because of the fact that they will not sell the first iPad till 5 p.m. Eastern. That's 1 p.m. Pacific. But for a lot of people, 5 p.m. Eastern, especially on the East Coast, that just doesn't make any sense. They've been waiting. They probably got in line the night before, waiting to get in there, get in their iPad 2 by 10 o'clock, be out on the road by noon. No, they've now got to wait till 5 p.m. to get their iPad 2. $499 start model. And the question is, are you going to get yourself an iPad 2? Did you already get yourself an iPad 2? Let me know over at Geekazine. Of course, you can Twitter at Geekazine. Geekazine. Think of a magazine, take out the mag, put in a geek. So, are you getting yourself an iPad 2? Google announced Google Chrome 10. A year ago, they had Google Chrome 4, and they've been upgrading. And you probably haven't even noticed if you've used Chrome, because they just update, and then they give you the new version. If you haven't closed out your browser in a long time, you use Google Chrome, you might want to close everything out, maybe reboot the computer, and come back in. Then you'll see Chrome 10. They've done some pretty interesting little changes on it. The one big thing I noticed is a lot of the menus have become web pages. It's not an open stand-free window on its own. It's just in the web page, and you go through the links and go from there. Kind of nice, but I'm going to put on my old IT administrator hat. This would never work in a business situation because you don't know what's going to happen when somebody updates a browser like that. That was the biggest problem. Years ago, you might have been stuck on Internet Explorer 6, for example, when everybody was on Internet Explorer 7. Well, the reason why was because there were certain things that if a company was to switch to Internet Explorer 7, a lot of the programs, a lot of web-based programs that they were using would have not worked properly. And they would have had to figure out, find fixes and stuff like that. Some banking software was the big thing. So when I see a browser program update itself, I like the idea, but on the other aspect, you don't know what it's going to do. It's going to do your web pages. It's going to do to you your browsing history. The last version of Chrome, for example, when I right-clicked on anything, I got the little drop-down menu, but then the mouse conveniently just disappeared every time I tried to hover over one of the options in there. That's the biggest problem, and you just, all of a sudden, everything starts to change, your experience starts to change, and you get a little bit more frustrated. Why is this all of a sudden doing this? Well, the reason why is because Chrome's updating itself every chance it gets. And like I said, it can be a good thing. It can be a bad thing as well. So if you got a new quirk with your Chrome, that's the reason why. Now, the best part about Chrome is it's one of the browsers that is high in security. They just ran tests. They said IE8 and Safari are the worst browsers to be using to get hacked into. Chrome is one of the best, and IE9 is one of the best. So upgrading to IE9, which should be happening next week when they announce it at South by Southwest, will be the most important thing. But Safari, Apple, you really need to push up the game for Safari, because a lot of your systems are on Safari, and it might not bring in malware like viruses, but it definitely can bring in phishing attacks, and that's not good. You know, in the old days we had business cards. I still have business cards, but you want to have a business card for the web. Well, a few months ago, a company called About.me came on the scene where you could technically create your online business card. We didn't talk about it too much because I really wanted to see which direction About.me is going. They're going to be taking some new initiatives coming South by Southwest, which is coming up this next week. Unfortunately, I won't be going. My plans for South by Southwest fell through. However, you'll see a lot of great interaction over at South by Southwest, and I got an insider that's going to give me feed me some stuff that's going on there, which is really cool. Of course, you can check all the social media stuff, all the bloggers, all the podcasters that are going to be out there and doing their thing. However, back to About.me, it's a way to put your business card online for your company, for your personal, for whatever. As you can see, I got Geekazines, and you can see my nice little picture right there. It tells you where you can find me. You can find me at Geekazine, Dorkazine, Sportazine, and TVazine, and many other websites, of course. So if you want to check it out, About.me, it's absolutely free to set up yourself a profile and let everybody know how they can get a hold of you. It's the personal business card for the web. All right, ladies and gentlemen, a new segment over on 5 Tech Things You Should Know About. The top 5 things I learned this week. Let's get started. Number 5, Zuckerberg has a dog. I think, of course, Zuckerberg had his dog Beast, and he gave him a Facebook page. I'm kind of wondering if he saw the Ustream puppies and said, hey, maybe this is a great way for me to get some extra exposure on here. Number 4, Steve Jobs is now the 43rd richest person in the United States, 110th in the world. Hey, Steve, spare some change? Number 3, the Farley brothers chose Johnny Knoxville as Moe in the Three Stooges movie. Come on, did you not see the Dukes of Hazzard? I got a better choice for you for Moe for the Three Stooges movie. Why not Crispin Glover? He'd look a lot more like Moe. On a side note, you could get Zach Galifianakis, who could play Larry, and maybe Ving Rhames to play Curly. That sounds like a pretty good combination. Who are your choices? Let me know over at geekazine@gmail.com. Number 2, Chuck Norris does not blow out birthday candles. They stand at attention and instantly fall upon command. Happy birthday to Chuck Norris, who of course turned 71 this week. And then finally, what do you get when you mix a semi with printer ink trying to cross a low-lying bridge? Instant art. Of course, they call it obja truva, or trashy art. And actually, it looks just like somebody set it up in an art gallery. So pretty cool stuff. You can check all the pictures online. Of course, the semi hit the low-lying bridge, and all the printer ink just exploded. Lots of red and blue and yellow all over the place. So pretty cool stuff. So check that out. I'll have the link in the show notes, which you can get over at geekazine.com. Well, Facebook is at it again. Not only is Mark Zuckerberg putting his puppy up online, which of course we talked about in the 5 things I learned this week, but also Facebook is trying to take over Netflix and maybe even Skype. Pretty cool stuff. They have video conferencing, which was announced before. Of course, we knew that was happening. They talked about it in the last, year and a half right now. But last week, they started doing online movie streaming. You'd need to get credits, which was about $3. It goes through the Facebook credit system, which, of course, Facebook has been very adamant about companies, especially companies that creating games for Facebook, to use their credit system, or else they're not going to be on Facebook, period. So if you're using games and all of a sudden you are required to buy something inside of a game, you would be buying Facebook credits. You wouldn't be buying their credits, which is great. It's a great security measure. However, it becomes a very big controlling effort for Facebook. So Facebook would be the be-all, end-all if you had a problem with your credits. There'd still be an issue if you bought credits for a movie or for your Farmville game or Mafia Wars or whatever, and all of a sudden you had a problem and you lose credits. It's like, who do you blame? Do you blame the game developer? Do you blame the person that has the movie? Do you blame Facebook? Where do you get your credits back from? And that will be the interesting thing on how they work all that out. But getting back to the movies, of course, The Dark Knight being the first movie, Warner Brothers Online, you basically like their page, and then you can get the option to download the movie for 30 credits, which is about $3. So the question is, are you going to start using Facebook to watch, stream, and buy movies? Because you can also buy the movie outright. Or are you just going to stick with Netflix? For now, Netflix I like. There's still that question about the 90-day rule, which Netflix usually cannot get movies that come out on DVD for about 90 days. Amazon has that cornered right now. But the real question, will Facebook start doing that? Will you be able to get a DVD rental and all of a sudden watch it on Facebook? We'll see what happens. We'll see how this cultivates into the future. And we'll see how other people react. If you've already tried to download a movie on Facebook, well, of course, there's only one movie to download on Facebook right now, and that is The Dark Knight. Let me know. geekazine@gmail.com. All right, ladies and gentlemen, very great news. Of course, it says 10% off on this ad. I need to change it for next week, but now it's back to 15% off. 15% off by using that code GEEK to back up your documents, back up your pictures, back up your life online with Mozy.com. They got some new price plans, $5.99 a month for 50 gigabytes or $9.99 a month for 125 gigabytes. You use the code GEEK, that gets you 15% off that already low price. Now, folks, once you've done that, backed up your files, please send me an email over at geekazine@gmail.com. Everybody that sends me an email will throw into a hat in the end of the month, and I'll give you a couple more months for free. Just compliments of Geekazine. But in the meantime, use that code, and that's going to get you 15% off. That code is GEEK, and that's over at Mozy.com. So back up now, back up often, and back up offsite with Mozy. Finally, we all talk about Facebook, and before Facebook, it was MySpace, and we know about Twitter, and we're not exactly sure what Twitter does, and then you might know about FriendFeed, and then there's, of course, Yelp, and then there's Yammer, and then there's Plurk, and then there's this and that, and the other thing. There was Jaiku, but it was sold, and then there was Pounce, and it was sold, and now it doesn't work, even though they said they were going to bring it, and it's like, which social network do you need to spend the most time on? Which, especially if you're a business, which social network is actually going to make you the most money? Well, CMO.com asked that question, and they came up with this. It's called the Social Landscape, which is a poster-sized document that shows you the advantages and disadvantages to working with that social network. We'll start with Facebook. It goes through good and bad, what it likes, what it doesn't like. For instance, in Facebook, it's not a big SEO thing, so if you're looking for search engine marketing on Facebook, it's just not going to happen. But if you want customer communication, Facebook, of course, is the best thing right now. The best overall looks like to be Twitter, because you can do everything, and it gets searched, and it gets put into Google, so we can be searched upon. You get to your customers. A lot of people use it now that we have people like Charlie Sheen and Ashton Kutcher online. And it's a pretty roundabout thing. If you really want to get your all-encompassing social networking skills going, you might want to check out a website called ping.fm, ping.fm. I was reintroduced to it earlier this week because of the fact that it hits a lot of social networks all at once. Now, you got to think of it like Twitter, but broadcast on Twitter, because, of course, the lesser of the posting systems, and what I mean by lesser is Twitter only does 140 characters. You want to post 4. So you post in Ping like you're posting in Twitter, and of course it'll then hit Facebook, it'll then hit Flickr, it'll hit Brightkite, it'll hit Posterous, it'll hit wherever you need it to hit. And of course you can also set up ping.fm to go to groups. So maybe On one post, you don't want it to go to Facebook. On other posts, yeah, you do want it to go to Facebook and Twitter, but maybe not Posterous, maybe not Flickr, maybe not your blog, because you can also do that with ping.fm. It's a great little roundabout thing, but if you're really curious as to which social network system you want to look at and get to encompass for your business needs, for your personal needs, for whatever, check out this document over at cmo.com. And of course, that is the 5 tech things you should know about. Once again, I really hope that the people in Japan are safe and sound and everything gets subsided. I know there's going to be some aftershocks. Hawaii's bracing for a big tidal wave over there. For example, friend over there, Todd, I know you're in a safe area, but I hope all your friends and family are safe as well as everybody else around the world. Be safe, stay safe. The 5 tech things you should know about will be back next week. Like I said, South by Southwest was supposed to happen, but things fell through. C'est la vie. I will be back next week with another 5 tech things you should know about. So until then, go over to geekazine.com for all your cool stuff. Twitter me on Geekazine, GeekAzine, and of course, email me at geekazine@gmail.com. Until next week, ladies and gentlemen, thanks a lot for watching, and we will see you next time. Stay chin-chillin'. For instance, Facebook, it gives you stupid cord. No, Facebook doesn't give you a stupid cord. I can't.